What is up, my fellow golf ball addicts? Welcome back to the channel. I am reviewing a direct-to-consumer company today. We are doing the first 3 golf balls in a 6 golf ball lineup from Snyder Golf. Some of you have requested these before. Now we can finally test them. Let's dive right in. Guys, as always, if you love this content, please like, comment, and subscribe. All the free stuff that really helps this channel out. We also have a membership that just starts at $1 a month if you want to support this channel further. I appreciate everyone who does that. We just now hit 20,000 as well, so thank you so much. I really appreciate everyone who supports this out. It's awesome. So Snyder Golf, I haven't heard much about them. I don't really know a ton about them. I know a couple of you have come forward over this year. I mean, it hasn't been a ton, but it's been a few. I've seen you. Hey, review the Snyder golf balls. Hey, check out Snyder. And, they were on my list, but I just have so many golf balls to test. Well, Snyder actually came forward and contacted me and asked and said, hey, listen, if I send you the models, would you be more than happy to test them? Of course, absolutely. So they sent me all 6 different models. Thank you, Snyder. Appreciate that. And we're going to give them an honest review. Now, one thing I will say is I really respect when a direct-to-consumer company, especially, but any ball company, that flat out is like, yeah, test our golf balls. Because you'd be surprised how many people don't want me to test their golf balls. Really, I mean, you'd be surprised. Some of you probably know that, but there's a lot of companies I'm like, hey, could you offer a discount? And they're like, no. Buy them full price or whatever, because they know me. And they do, and they admit it. They admit it to me. It's not a guess. They admit it to me. However, there are some companies like Snyder that are like, yeah, no, we see what you do. We respect it. We love it. Hit us with your best shot. We want your feedback. Let's go. I respect that. It shows they care. It shows they want to be better. It shows they're golf ball addicts, and I just want to make a point to that because I'm not seeing it as much as I used to, and I give a lot of respect to them for that. So I appreciate them, Snyder. I appreciate you, Snyder, being that way. All right, Snyder, I'm going to give you my best shot here. I'm really hoping these golf balls are good. We're going to see how they test, so let's dive right in. So when it comes to pricing and design, these golf balls, there's actually 6 different models that Snyder offers. The first 3, which is what we're testing today, are the Speed, the Soft Plus, and the Tour. They also have 3 additional models that are, more pro. I'll cover those in the next video. Let's just focus on these 3 for now, and let's get into the pricing here. Now, when it comes to the pricing, some of you might be a little disappointed. When it comes to the Soft Plus, they are $29.99. When it comes to the Speed, they are $34.99. And when it comes to the Tour, it's $43.99 a dozen. Now, the Snyder Soft Plus is a 2-piece iometer golf ball. Now, Snyder has something called an Advanced Soft NEI cover, which is supposed to be a really advanced iometer cover. Obviously, I don't know much about that, but they claim it's the bee's knees, so we'll see. But yeah, so that's a 2-piece golf ball at $29.99. I know that's going to turn a lot of people off immediately, but we'll see. The numbers might be really, really good with this. Now, they also do offer a bulk deal on every golf ball I'm getting ready to tell you, and essentially it is 10% off of 3 boxes or more, 15% off of 6 boxes or more, and also there's this little banner that's right here. It says, welcome 2025 for 25% off your first order. I guess that's just a code they're running. So if you do decide you want to play these, use that code and you can get 25% off. It's not my code, it's their code. Just use it. Now, those prices are high, and normally I would get a little more upset at them, but I will say I got to give Snyder some credit because they're doing something that I believe everybody should do. Whether you're direct to consumer, whether you're a AAA tour ball, whatever, they have a trial pack, and this is so huge. This is what they offer here. It is a Snyder mixed edition, and what this is for $25, you can essentially try 5 of their different golf ball models. You can try everything except the Ace, the Pro X, the Speed, everything we just talked about basically, and I think they send, it's like 2 of each. 10 golf balls. 10 golf balls, 2 of each. And it's just a little trial pack. It allows you to try them out, which is huge. Everyone should do that. I know back in the day, Sugar Golf did that. Encore did that. Everyone should be doing it. It allows you to try out their golf balls at a reasonable price and figure out if you like them. And then once you find out which one you like, you can fully commit, then get your coupons, then get your discounts, then get your bulk, all that stuff. Great move, Snyder. That's the only reason I'm not ripping you about the price, because it is kind of expensive for a direct-to-consumer ball. Now, when it comes to the design of these golf balls, I'll put them all up on the screen here. That's what the Snyder logo looks like, and it is pretty basic for the most part, but you know what? It gets the job done. Snyder, I mean, it's the company's name, and I don't think it'll win any awards, but there ain't anything wrong with it, that's for sure. And then looking at the alignment tool on the side, this is what they all look like. Now, this is one of my favorite alignment tools because, you know, this is all I require. I just want the basic, meat and potatoes. I don't require that you have a really cool one, you know, like the, you know, 360 line. I mean, that's cool, don't get me wrong, but this gets the job done. You know what I mean? You can see it clear as day on camera, and it tells what golf ball it is. It's the most vanilla way you can do it, but it gets the job done, and it's funny because so many golf ball companies can't get that right. You guys did. Good job. That's the design there. Now, when it comes to the colors these come in, they do have some color options, which is pretty cool. So the first color option they have is when it comes to the Soft Plus, they have it in matte yellow, they have it in white, they have it in matte red, and they have it in pink, which is pretty cool because I do enjoy a pink golf ball, actually. Then when we get into the Speed, they offer not only the regular white, but they offer a really cool burnt orange like you can see there, which is awesome. And then you can also see that they have a really cool like crystal blue kind of color, a little bit of turquoise in there. That's gorgeous. I love that. So really unique and different there as well. Then when we get into the Tour, they offer the white and they offer a red. And the red is, you know, take it or leave it. Some people really hate red, but hey, at least they offer a high-vis color. Whether you like it or not, hey, they have it as an option. So, all right, without further ado, let's get out to the chipping and putting green and let's see how we do around there. All right, Speed first. Okay, a little bit. Okay, not a lot of rotation. I think it was slightly mishit, but I did like the release. The release was very clean. Everything was right toward, you know, the target. So that part's good. Oh, there we go. Beautiful. Okay, not a lot of rotation. That was a nice, clean, low spinner. I did see a tiny bit, but it just never tugged or really. Now again, very clean release, right toward the hole. So now I'm just gonna go right at it. Cool, yeah, very straight. Very, very straight. Not a lot of spin, not a lot of rotation, but very straight. Oh, now there you go. Now I'm opening the face a little bit to try to hit more of a flop, and now I'm getting some rotation a little bit. Very soft. Okay, great rotation. Love the stopping power, soft landing, but boy, dead in the hands. It's very, very soft, very squishy. So if you like that type of feel, very good. Firm release, but really straight, right to the hole. Love to see it. Beautiful. Oh man, when it's hit perfect, it's got some rotation. That had bite. That had more bite than a snake pit. I love it. Okay, again, not bad. Little firm release. It's very touchy. If you don't hit it perfect, it'll kind of do some different stuff on you. But boy, when it's hit right, oh boy. Okay, whoa, 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 whoa. I mean, I hit it clean. It was a little bit of a pull. It was a low spinner, but holy cow, did you see that rotation? Did you see that bite? Guys, I can't sugarcoat that. That's the most spin I've seen since the Srixon Tour lineup earlier this year. That was nuts. I mean, as soon as it lands, the second that ball hits the turf, it just, I mean, it reacts unlike anything I've ever seen. I mean, that is just crazy. I got to do this again. I'm going to open the face a little bit. Beautiful. Unreal. I mean, not only did it check up and have so much tug, because I had the face open, it shot to the right. Okay, some left spin. All right, I gotta run it back one more time. I really do. I mean, this is insane. This is insanity. Okay, a little high. Wow, get in the hole. Ugh. Guys, I gotta give it the 100%. I do. I gotta give it on the spin meter because here's the thing. I've never done that before. I've never given anything 100%. But that's the most spin I've ever seen greenside on a golf ball. And the reality is that if you don't give that golf ball 100%, what golf ball can even earn 100%? I mean, that's just insane. It is insane what that golf ball is doing, because not only is it tugging, you know, and having backspin, but guys, it's jumping left and right. If I open the face or close the face, the left spin just shot 90 degrees. The right spin is shooting 90 degrees. Like, if you're an advanced player and you want to manipulate the golf ball, this thing will do anything you want it to. That's just insanity. All right, starting with the mallet putter, heavier, more forgiving, with the Snyder Speed. Okay, a little bit of chug effect, but overall it actually had a crispiness to it. I like the little tiny press for feedback. That was actually really nice. It actually came off the club a lot hotter than I thought it would. Okay, so still a little bit of chug. It doesn't have a true roll, but it's pretty good for the most part. I love the feel and the sound and the feedback and how hot it comes off the putter. You know, I don't have to come back as far. Yeah, see, I just barely gave that one. There we go. Perfect. I like that a lot. Yeah, that's excellent. Moving on to, this is the Soft Plus. So remember, with the wedge, this one felt pretty dead. So let's see if that translates here. Oh yeah, it does. No feedback in the hands at all. That was a terrible putt. Please excuse that. But boy, it's got some bouncy ball in there. It really has some bouncy ball. So the true roll here, there's some chug effect for sure. That is common with bouncy balls. Now I will say it's not bad. It went in the hole. Let me see if I can get another one here. Oh, okay. I'm getting it there, but boy, that's the most chug I've seen in a while. Basically, the ball's just coming off so hot because it has so much bouncy ball in there that it's coming off hot, and then it's kind of adjusting, and so that's where I'm seeing that. But it's still good. It's not bad. It's just kind of okay. You know what I mean? But it's getting there. It was easy to putt. Now getting to the Tour. Now this was my favorite with the wedge, so I can't wait for this. I hope it's excellent. Okay. Little too much sauce. Actually a great putt, just too much sauce. One more time, validate the parking. Okay, so again, not a true roll. I haven't seen a true 10 out of 10 or 5 out of 5 is how I do it now, roll. But it's still really close. That one, I mean, it really doesn't have a feel or feedback. It's actually pretty light. It's very light coming off the putter. Let me actually close my eyes on this one and just see. Okay, so I do kind of get in the hole. That's hilarious. I should putt with my eyes closed all the time. I do feel just a tiny hint of feedback, and I hear just a faint click, but it is all very quiet and subdued. So if you like them like that, that's how that one will be. Not bad. Not bad at all. Let's run it back and try the blade putter. All right, now we have our traditional Odyssey blade putter. Let's see if that changes how these roll at all. Oh yeah, it does. That's instantly better. At least speaking for the speed. That's way better on the roll. I like the little kiss for feedback, the nice little crispy click. Okay, a little bit of chug there, but still really nice. So far I liked the blade putter a lot better. Okay, nice. Yeah, no, I like that a lot. It's very similar in feel and everything. I'd say it's like a tiny, tiny step in the right direction to be better. But the roll is definitely a notch up for sure. I like it a lot better with the old traditional blade. Now, getting into the soft, this is interesting because this was the one that was completely dead in my hands. I wonder if now I actually feel a little bit of feedback. Yeah, I do. I like that a lot. Wow. Excellent. Now I actually feel the butter. I actually can hear the little bit of crispy sound coming off the club face. Before, this was dead with the mallet putter. Not the case anymore. Okay, a little bit of chug, but again, who cares? When it's going in the hole, you can chug all you want. I couldn't give 2 craps less as long as you're going in the hole. And that seems to be what we're doing. Bad putt by me, one of the worst putts of the day, but still right there in line with the hole. I love that. Yeah, that's excellent. Much better. Now the Tour, little firmer. So let's see how this is. Oh my goodness. Okay, I heard that. Okay, got to verify the parking on that one. I heard the sound. The feel feels still great. It's kind of all right in that middle like I've been talking about, but that sound. Oh no, that's excellent. I hit it right that time. That is just gorgeous. Okay. Not very often the blade putter does better, but this is one of those cases. Oh, come on. Overall, nothing bad. You know, there was a couple okays in there, but really the blade putter is where these golf balls start to shine. That's where I saw the most benefit. I liked them a lot off the blade. They had more feedback. They had a more crispier sound. The mallet, the big problem was just a lot of chug effect, and essentially that happens. You know, it's such a heavy block. You know, mine's made of wood, but a lot of yours are made of, you know, carbon and all this stuff now. When you have that much weight back there and you're hitting a golf ball, if it has too much absorption, if it's a low compression, sometimes it just springs off too fast initially, and that's kind of what I saw. It's not a bad thing, but it can affect putting for sure if you don't have a true roll. Blade was much, much better. All right, starting off with the Speed. Let's see what we're working with here. Pretty solid, actually. A lot of explosiveness behind it. Really good feel. Very solid. Yeah, I mean, it feels good. It's not a perfect 5 out of 5, but pure hits are a 4. Let me try to miss hit one. Yeah, 3 out of 5. Pretty good. I like that. Okay, soft. I definitely felt a little bit more marshmallow. It's not super marshmallowy like a super soft would be, but still a solid 4 out of 5. Really good on that feel. Very explosive. All of them have been pretty explosive so far. That even had some crisp in there. Like a very, very soft golf ball. They're soft plus. I think of marshmallow. No, it's got crispiness in there. It's a little firmer than you think it would be. Kind of reminds me like a Wilson Boost, you know, like not super firm, but kind of that medium. A little miss hit there. Man, that's a solid 4 out of 4 on both accounts. I love that. Wow, that's nice. That is really, 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 really nice. Little off the toe, still great. Let me try to purposely hit one here and I'll give you my final verdict. I like that. Yeah, 4 out of 5 on miss hits, 5 out of 5 on pure hits. I like that one a lot. Okay. All right, let's talk some data numbers. We are going to start with the 50-yard pitch. As always, backspin RPM. I'm really hoping for some good numbers because based on the greenside spin that was out there, I hope some of that translates to here. You know what I mean? But we'll see. So starting with the 50-yard pitch, we are looking at 8,450 for the Speed, which is very respectable. I love that. Very low launch too. Then we have a much higher launch at 8,197, which still is in the green. That's great. It's going to have a lot of stopping power. And then we get to the... that can't be... Is that a... okay, so here's why this is so significant. Okay, for a long time, the Pro V1X had the record at 8,555. Okay, then the Snell 2.0 came along and it beat it, I think, by like 150 RPM or something like that. I mean, it was just such a soft golf ball. Really cool, you know. That's like 8,700 or something like that, and that's still in first place. Not anymore. 9,500 RPM with the 50-yard pitch. That is insane. My golf ball addicts, you know that's insane. If you're new to the channel, let me explain to you how crazy this is. Okay, when I do my 15 to 16 shots, somewhere in that range, and then I take the 10 best ones, 50-yard pitch, I've only seen above 9,000 5 or 6 times this year. And I'm talking only like one shot. I'm talking like out of the 10 or 15 I hit, oh, hey, I got over 9,000. That's crazy. This golf ball must spin a ton. To have a golf ball average over 9,000 would be insane. Even if it was 9,100 or 9,050 or whatever, that would be insane. To average 9,500 RPM, that is bonkers. Laffy Taffy, Looney Tunes, ridiculous, ridiculous. That is asinine, that is ass-10, that is ass-11. I mean, I don't know what to say to that. That is absolutely bonkers. That's not just stop and rip back to you. That's stop, rip back, come back off the green and come down to your feet. I don't think anything will touch that for the rest of the year. I mean, it could, don't get me wrong, but that is absolutely insane. Wow. Okay, cool. Let's move on to the pitching wedge.
All right, so when we look at the smash factors for the pitching wedge, actually 1.23 being in the green is awesome. I haven't seen a lot of green lately. In fact, if we just look at the speed as a whole, it's phenomenal. I mean, everything is green, and what I really love the most about it is it has the most spin. That 7,320 is going to rip back. It's going to be a very healthy amount of spin. That means it's going to fly straighter, which is great. But you also gain distance. I gained 2 or 3 yards despite that spin number. So, I mean, how can you complain about that? That's about as perfect as it gets, I won't lie. Then we get into the Soft Plus, and it looks like I might have been overcompressing a little bit. I don't know that for certain yet. We'll check with the 7 and the driver. But a really healthy spin number, again, almost 7,300, but I lost ball speed and I lost distance. Now, some of that distance is because of the spin, but also that ball speed suffered, so we'll have to check on that as well. Then when we get into the Tour, 95 is respectable. Great spin number again, low launch. All of them are low launch, low to mid, but the Soft Plus did launch higher than the other two. Then when we get into the distance for the Tour, average, it gets the job done. It has a healthy spin number. Overall, I don't mind that. So we have a really phenomenal performance, a good performance, and then something that might be overcompressed. So let's move on to the 7 and see how that is.
There's nothing abnormal there, really. Looking at the numbers, the spin's great on all of them, like I talked about. I love the distance I got with the speed. That's kind of the whole point of speed, is to get more distance. The fact that, it's been a while since I've said this, but being able to have your cake and eat it too, get increased distance, but also above average spin, love it. The Tour is still riding the high from the 9,500. At this point, if I wanted a ball that spun a ton, I wouldn't even care what those pitching wedge numbers were. I would just care about, that's cool. So anyway, off to a good start. Getting into the 7-iron now, we're looking at
All right, so when it comes to the 7-iron, it's pretty easy to kind of just summarize this up. Again, the high launch goes to the Soft Plus, just like with the pitching wedge. The other two are kind of mid, which is great. All three of these golf balls have really healthy spin, which that seems to kind of be the main point through all of this, right? We've seen this time and time again. That's kind of the main objective, I think, of Snyder at this point with these golf balls, is they want them to spin a lot, and they do. Excellent numbers across the board. Even that 5,520 in the middle that's yellow, that's like 20 RPM away from being green. So it's very, very, very close. It's on the high side of average. When it comes to the distance, they're all relatively close. They're all within, a yard of each other, basically, when it comes to carry, and 2 yards when it comes to total rollout. That's not really going to make one difference one way or the other. I think these golf balls are for people who really need extra spin and want some really good checkup. Distance-wise, they didn't suffer. I didn't see anything in the 150s, which is great. They're not perfect. I would have loved to have seen green, but when it came to ball speed, all of them were average, and so that's nice. They all have average ball speed. They all have, okay distance, but they all have phenomenal spin and really good optimal launch angles. So I don't mind that. They're doing exactly what they're designed to do.
That's still really good. So, we're keeping it going. So hopefully the driver can keep this going. We're looking at...
So when it comes to the driver, we don't have a lot of green, unfortunately, but, I had a feeling this was going to be the case. It's like seeing a unicorn, basically, to have a golf ball that spins an absolute ton and also has the most distance. It's becoming harder and harder to see that as golf ball limits are pushed. But when it comes to these numbers, let's dive into them. The speed on the left there, unfortunately, when it comes to pretty much everything, it's in the red. Now, I will say, all of that isn't abysmally in the red. A lot of it is close to the yellow. So it's not like it's, I'm losing 10 yards. I'm only losing a few, but I'm still losing regardless. So a little disappointing there. Then when we get into the Soft Plus, it has really healthy low spin number, which was great. Average ball speed, that's great. The rollout was really good too, because it wanted to launch low for some reason. Maybe I was overcompressing it still, but it launched low, had a good rollout. So that's okay. It gets the job done, but boy, it's still lacking a little bit. Then when we get into the Tour, the Tour I had the least amount of ball speed with, just did not seem to hit it well at all. That smash factor is one of the lowest I've seen in a while. When it comes to total distance, though, I lost about 4 yards compared to my average. So to some of you, 4 yards might not be the end of the world, but it still ends up in the red. Like I said, these are all very close to being in the yellow. They're just not quite there. But I wish those numbers had been just a little bit better for sure.
Well, not surprising. I knew it couldn't be perfect. Things were going too well, unfortunately. So let's talk about the driver numbers here for a second. When it comes to all that red you see, you know, I did swing a little fast with a couple of them, so by the time you do the adjustment, you know, the smash factors just weren't great. The big problem with these golf balls is they wanted to launch really, really low, and they've kind of had a low launch throughout. That's pretty common with European balls. It just is. And I mean, and when I say European balls, all I mean is just golf balls that are designed overseas. I saw this with Seed. You know, Vice had this thing for a while. It's any golf ball that is intended for over there. They just play a different game than us, and they want really low launch from my understanding. Let's go to the accuracy and dispersion charts, and let's see how those are. Let's see how we did there.
Starting off with the speed, the 50-yard pitch could be a little bit better. It's not the best I've seen this year, but it's not bad. It's okay. It gets the job done. Then when we get into the pitching wedge, I actually like that a lot. There's some serious dart throw in there. I mean, all those are going to be on the green. I'm going to have a shot at birdie with all those. And actually, if you focus on the best 5, that's really tight, so I like that. Getting into the 7-iron, it's a little all over the place, but if we actually just focus on, if you're looking at your screen, the bottom portion of it, the other 3 at the top are pulls left, obviously. But those aren't bad at all. Those are actually really close, a little left and right, but that's probably more of a me thing. I like that. That's going to give me a lot of birdie opportunities, so I would say it's a little bit better than average, so I love to see it. Then when we get to the driver, that's probably the best part there. I mean, look at that. If you take the 2 pulls away and you look at the 8 out of 10 that are all right there in the fairway, that's awesome. They're all really close when it comes to distance. I didn't see a lot of distance dispersion, and also the accuracy is well above average. That's great. Then when we go to the soft plus, we have a little bit better on the 50-yard pitch. The pitching wedge is still really good, but I don't know if it's necessarily better than the speed. Then we get to the 7-iron. Again, you got to take those pulls away. So look at the 3 that are pulls over there on the top part of your screen, and then just look at the bottom, you know, pushes kind of, you know, maybe I had the launch monitor at a weird angle, but those 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6 are excellent. All of those are, it's kind of like in a bird migration pattern. That's kind of cool. But no, long story short, that's a really good accuracy. The distance dispersion is great. Other than a couple pulls by me, I like that. That's going to give me some birdie opportunities. That's great. And then when we get to the driver, again, you've got one really bad push way over there to the right. Obviously, that's a mistake on my end. And then there's one really bad pull, but if you take the other 8 out of 10, guys, that's right in the middle of the fairway. So 8 out of 10 being dead center, I love that. So that's actually a little bit of a step above, I think, what we just saw with the speed, but it's still really good. Definitely above average. Now with the Tour, I see the best 50-yard pitch of the bunch. That's excellent, and it doesn't surprise me. With that level of backspin, the golf ball is going to fly straighter, like I've said throughout, and you can tell it there from the dispersion chart. Getting into the pitching wedge, again, really, really solid there. I did see a little bit of distance dispersion. You can tell if I pushed it or I pulled it, I did lose distance, but boy, if I hit it correctly, that is some really tight dispersion there. That's great. Getting into the 7-iron, I'm a little bit all over the place, but not bad, really. If you focus on 7 or 8 of the 10 that are right there in the middle, very solid. You know, I had a pull or 2. I caught one a little heavy. There's definitely some distance dispersion, so keep an eye out for that. Now, when we come to the driver, this one's kind of all over the place. Now, listen, yes, there's 3 major pulls there. There's also a push. You know, if you look at the main 5 right there in the middle, those are great. But what that also tells me is that it's a very unforgiving golf ball off the tee. Don't get me wrong, I do have a pull, but I mean, that's definitely, you can tell based on the other 2, that one's a little bit more punishing when you mishit it. If I close the face, if I open the face, I did notice it pushing and slicing and also, you know, hooking a little bit more than the other 2. So just keep that in mind, which makes sense. It's called the Tour for a reason, I guess.
All right, so now let's touch on some durability before I give you my closing thoughts. We are going to start with the speed. Let me find, here we go. Okay, looking at the speed, the side I hit is a little banged up, but I'll tell you what, if I feel it, I really don't feel anything at all. That's actually really, really nice. Looking at the rest of the golf ball, wow, it's still shiny. I mean, definitely is a little cheap looking, but no, that's still really good. I like that. Yeah, no, that's definitely a 9 out of 10. That's really respectable. And to be fair, based on the pricing, I would expect it to be good. I mean, the problem, and my golf ball addicts know, when you charge premium price, I expect premium performance, and I expect premium durability. And so I do kind of put more pressure on direct-to-consumer companies that do that. But that's nice. That's exactly what I would expect. Great job. Then we move on to the soft. Now the soft does look the cheapest of the three because it has all these, dimples. I did not mention that at the beginning of the video, but you can tell clearly there's a ton of dimples on this thing and it definitely looks a little cheaper. But looking at it overall, it still looks really good. I mean, my goodness, even the side that I hit over and over and over, I'm feeling it. Wow. No, there's nothing there. I mean, it's a little bit, but man, that's a 9 out of 10 also. That's really, really good. If it wasn't for the discoloration and the paint kind of fading, it would have been a 10, but that's still really good. Great job. Okay, last but not least, we have the Tour. Looking at this bad boy, again, really consistent. I mean, if I feel it, there's not a lot of abrasions there. There's some discoloration, which is fine. There's no tears, there's no bumps, there's no abrasions. Again, 9 out of 10, really good. I love that. Great job, Snyder. Seriously, 9 out of 10 across the board is exactly what I would expect. So, all right, so closing thoughts. Let's get the negative out of the way right now. Okay, so when it comes to direct-to-consumer companies, especially ones I test for the first time, a lot of what I do is just constructive feedback. I explained to you based on 5 years of testing and being in the golf ball addict community, what people like, what people want, and I just try to give you constructive feedback on how you can improve, and that's what all this is. When it comes to the negative, it's really just the driver performance. I wish it had been a little better. I don't need it to be top 10. I don't need it to be top 15, but in the yellow would have been nice. So if those golf balls can be tweaked a little bit, because you got to remember, you got to justify the price, right? And I understand it's a business, got to make money, but with that type of pricing, I would expect it to at least have been a yellow. It launches really low. That's kind of an issue for me, not for everyone, but that may be subjective. That's really the only negative thing besides the price and the driver performance. Those two things are really it, and that's because they're kind of tied together, right? So that's the negative. When it comes to the positives, though, the spin is unreal, right? And so do these golf balls have a market? Absolutely they do. It's a very unique market, but it's one that probably actually has a lot of people in it. I just don't see it all the time. If you're someone who is looking for very straight shots, low launch, and a ton of spin, here you go. I mean, this is, based on the numbers, you can probably, you can order their trial pack or you can see which one's best for you, but these are the real deal when it comes to that. And the first thing I thought of when I tested these and I saw the numbers and I got everything, the first thing I thought of was, as many of my fellow golf ball addicts know, there's two types of courses I play and I have a ball for each. Long championship courses where they're really long, everything's wide open, I need the most distance I can get. But a lot of these Florida courses are residential home courses. They're very tight, they're very narrow, they're short, they're 5,800 yards from the tips. Right now, that Tour, I've got my eye on it because you're talking about a golf ball that, because of the backspin, is going to fly incredibly straight, so I don't have to worry about left and right, I don't have to worry about out of bounds. But also the fact of I don't need the distance, so sacrificing a little bit of that distance means nothing to me. I'm going to be hitting irons off the tee all day anyway. Having that type of greenside checkup, having that type of feel and response around the green in general, that's legit. So if you're someone who doesn't need distance, it's not a huge priority to you, but you like spin and you like control and you like feedback and you like all that, boy, they're onto something here. They really are. I mean, I'm intrigued. I don't see a lot of golf balls like this. So seeing these numbers, it's something different. It's something unique. As always, keep watching, keep saving, keep learning. Until next time. Next up, we have the Snyder Pro, Pro X, and Ace. Maybe the driver performance will be a little bit better with those since, they're 5 layers and, maybe they're meant for more faster swing speeds. We'll see. Stay tuned in a few days.